Aloha everyone, we are your hosts, Valerie,
Michael.
and welcome back to another episode of Alaka'i the podcast.
We hope you enjoyed our episode last week and shared it to your friends. Today we have an important discussion about human dignity, religious freedom, and a unique conference happening right here at BYU-Hawaii.
We are joined by a special guest, Joseph Sant. Joseph is a senior major in political science and peacebuilding. He works as an officer of the Religious Freedom Initiatives and is one of the key organizers of the ASEAN Perspectives on Human Dignity Conference. He'll help us understand the purpose of this event and why it matters to students and the broader community. So, welcome Joseph. We're excited to have you here. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing pretty good today. So
Yeah.
It's been a good day.
Great. Okay. So let's start with the big picture. What is the purpose of the ASEAN Perspectives on Human Dignity Conference, and how do you think students here can benefit from it?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the purpose is to provide an opportunity for a small group of scholars to expand our understanding of how human dignity is addressed from a variety of Oceanian and Asian perspectives. So it's an opportunity for scholars to come together and leaders to come together from various countries and to present their research and share their ideas and their perspectives. And so as far as for students, there are so many benefits for them. They can come and learn from these scholars. It's also a great place to meet and network with many of the leaders in the world, especially for students from these countries, from Asian and Oceanian countries. It's a great place to meet the leaders there. And also assisting with these conferences will look great on any student's resume. It's something that can really stand out and pop for future employers. And it will also give great training and experience in attending and running international conferences with world leaders and things like that. So it's a really good opportunity with lots of good growing experiences for students.
So, is it kind of like the ASEAN Perspectives on Human Dignity Conference, is it the same with the RFHD? Is it the same?
Yeah, so the RFHD is the Religious Freedom and Human Dignity Initiative, and the ASEAN conference that we're hosting
ASEAN,
this year.
sorry.
No, you're good. I don't know if there is a right way to say it. But that conference is for, it's like just specific for this year, and every year we host a different conference with a different theme.
Oh, okay. So this is the team now. I don't want to say it again,
You're
but like
good.
the ASEAN. Yeah. I'm actually part of the I'm gonna say it, this conference.
Yeah.
I'm part of it actually.
Mhm.
I think I'm part of the logistics.
The logistics team?
Yeah. I'm
Awesome.
part of the logistics team. And you just said that it's actually good for the resume.
Mhm.
So how does it work though?
The conference or...
The conference.
Yeah, so the conference will be over spring break.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be, they have some activities on Tuesday, but the first full day of events will be Wednesday through Friday. We have events for the delegates from other countries coming, and the students will have, the student volunteers will be able to help out the delegates in with different things, such as running the breakout rooms when they're presenting their research and explaining their ideas. They can help the delegates to do those things. We also have to pick them up from the airport and things like that, help them to check in at their hotel. And so it's really about helping the delegates to have a good experience. And as the students are helping out with that, they'll have a lot of really good interactions. And how the delegates can, or how the students word it on their resumes can also help it to stand out. So,
Oh, okay. So it can actually benefit a lot of students if they um actually do the conference. So
For
that's
sure.
good to know. Okay, so this is another question. So the term human dignity is central to this conference. How would you define human dignity, and why is it important to discuss it in today's world?
Yeah, human dignity can be defined in a lot of different ways. It's something as a working with the RFHD, we've studied a lot about it. I would define human dignity as the divine worth and value that every human is born with. It's something natural that's inside every single person. and that no one can take it away from them. And so it's something that's very important and vital to who they are, and to their worth as a person. And as far as why it's important to discuss it, I would say that it's important because there's many people who sometimes may be struggling with it or may be fighting for it. And by increasing the dialogue of human dignity, we are helping to increase the recognition of it around the whole world. So by talking about it more, by having these conversations in these conferences, we're helping to increase it in the whole world.
One of the things that I've been learning as like a peace building major, because you said we introduced you as like a political science and peace building major. One of the things that we've been learning in peace building is that dialogue is important regarding in each topics, in each aspects of our lives. So I think that's really good that we've been talking a lot about the concept of this type of things, and especially the initiatives in regards to human dignity. So, yeah.
For sure.
Okay, love that. On to the next question. It says religious freedom is another major topic at the conference. So, how would you define religious freedom, and why is it a need in every region, especially in ASEAN countries?
Yeah, religious freedom is also an interesting term to define. I would say that it's the right to believe and practice according to your own beliefs and desires of your heart. And that one, there's a lot of different debate and a lot of different scholarly work as far as defining what religious freedom is exactly. But I think it's so important for every region of the world to have, because it's connected closely with many other freedoms. When religious freedom flourishes, so do the societies with or around it. And so I think that by again increasing the dialogue around religious freedom, we're also hoping to help other societies and our own society flourish.
Regarding student involvements, conferences like this bring together scholars, leaders, and students to share insights. What do you think is the most interesting part of this year's conference? Or what do you think will be the most interesting part of this year's conference?
Yeah, there are a lot of amazing parts of the conference and things that I like during the conference. As far as the most interesting, I I think it's really interesting getting to meet all the delegates and getting their perspectives, getting to hear their stories of what led them to the conference, what led them to do the work they're doing now. Um, and I think too, getting to learn from them and their perspectives on human dignity and on religious freedom. That's one of my most favorite parts. In past conferences that I've attended, just getting to hear all the different perspectives, especially the ones that are different than mine and the reasons they believe the way they do, and the reasons they do the things they do, has always been really interesting to me. And that's one of my favorite parts of these conferences.
Okay. So you mentioned a while ago that you have attended other conferences before. So is this the first time a conference like this, well, at least like the structure of it, for this the coming months leading up to that point? Or has there been a similar initiative before?
So this isn't the first conference that we've hosted here at BYU-Hawaii. 2 years ago, we had the Asian Perspectives on Human Dignity, and last year we had the Oceanian Perspectives on Human Dignity. And with BYU's International Center for Law and Religion Studies in Provo, they also host a number of different conferences throughout the year. As far as here at BYU Hawaii, like I mentioned, there have been two other ones in the past, but every year we're getting a lot bigger. This year we have more delegates coming than we have in any previous conference. And so with that, some of the planning has been adjusted from previous ones. But yeah, this conference and similar conferences have been held in the past here.
I have a follow-up question. So we mentioned a while ago that there are delegates that come in and you help them with like their hotels. You help get them to the island. I was wondering, how's the whole process of knowing who to invite?
That's a good question. So we we work closely with BYU's International Center for Law and Religion Studies in Provo. And through them, we're able to coordinate and host these conferences. And a lot of the invitations that they send out and inviting delegates to come happens with them and through BYU-Hawaii as well. A lot of them um, have connections to professors or people here and from attending previous conferences hosted. And so we are able to invite them to these conferences as well. But yeah, a lot of them come from networking done at previous conferences or conferences held elsewhere as well.
Okay.
So, can we know who are the people that has been invited? Not exactly like the people, but at least like the countries that has been invited for this conference. Because as far as I know, there's gonna be, because I've attended like our very first, what do you call that, meeting, because
Mhm.
like what I've said, I'm part of the conference as well.
Yeah.
I'm one of the volunteers. I think I've heard that there's gonna be Philippines as well.
Yes,
Right.
correct. So there will be the ASEAN countries is a like a society and or an organization for 10 different countries. And so all 10 of
Oh.
those countries will have delegates from every single one of them and a few other countries. And so the 10 ASEAN countries, uh, they're Brunei, uh, Burma, so there's Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. And so those are the 10 countries that are represented by ASEAN, which is the Association of Southeast Asian Nations.
Mm.
And so we'll have those 10 countries there. In addition to that, we'll have a few other countries. And as far as delegates, we have a lot of delegates. I don't have the list with me, but it's a lot of like lawmakers or politicians or religious leaders from these various countries that have come. And some have come to all the other previous conferences we've hosted, and others it'll be their first time coming to a conference here at BYU Hawaii.
Oh, okay. So the conference is gonna be a big one, I
Hmm.
think. So is the conference gonna be open for public?
Yes, I believe most sessions will be open for public as far as when they're presenting like their research and things like that. We do have a few events that will be happening that are for the delegates or the invitees only.
Mm.
Um, but as far as them attending sessions, it will be open for students and the community.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so another question is, have you volunteered at conferences like this before? And what lessons did you learn from these experiences?
Yeah, so I've been able to help out with a conference in the past, and they were they were amazing experiences. I really enjoy attending these conferences. Even before I attended one in person for the first time, I remember watching some of their like recordings of the sessions that they had. Um, and I feel like attending it for the first time in person, I learned a lot about professionalism. I feel like we're taught about it here in classes at BYU Hawaii, but getting to experience it in real life has really helped me. And the conference, you get a lot of practice with it. It's also really good to learn, similar to professionalism, like how to present yourself in front of all those delegates and people, and how to, I guess, interact with representatives from other countries and things like that.
Okay, love that. Um, so we mentioned that the conference is happening here at BYU, and obviously students and faculty are involved when these delegates come from these different countries. So for students who are interested, can they still apply to participate in the conference? If so, what's the process?
Yeah. So for this year, this conference, our application to participate or to volunteer is currently closed. However, as I mentioned, it's still open. They can still attend some of the open sessions to learn and to, if they get a chance to meet some of these delegates. However, we will continue to have these conferences every April. And so for the next year, any students wanting to participate, if they participate this year, we should be able to help them participate next year if they want to. And if they weren't able to, we, as the RFHD, will be hosting like info booths and things like that. We'll host a number of other activities as well in the fall, so that students can sign up to volunteer to help out with this conference and other activities that we'll have.
Okay. Um, since this conference is part of an ongoing initiative, how do you see it evolving in the future? Like, what's the next after this ASEAN focused event?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I mentioned earlier that the initiative is growing really fast. That for this conference, we have more delegates coming than we have in any other conference, and we also have more students participating and helping out with the initiative as well. And so that's been really amazing to see it grow and evolve. As far as what we'll be hosting, we'll be able to host a number of activities in the fall to help students become more involved and learn more about the initiative. And as well as I mentioned, next year in April, we'll have another conference. We don't have a theme locked down for next April yet, but we're working on it. And whatever it'll be focused with human dignity and helping to increase the dialogue there with human dignity and religious freedom.
So, me being part of the volunteers, what's going to be your message to the whole students who will be participating in this event? Whether they might be those who are actually participating in the actual event, or just hearing those open sessions from those delegates. What's going to be your message, or what do you want them to like take away from this conference?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that there's a lot of takeaways that students can get, and I think there's a lot of things that I hope every student will get to experience as they participate and attend this conference. I think my main message to every student helping out would be it kind of reminds me of the saying from all the BYUs of enter to learn and go forth to serve. I think that this is a wonderful opportunity to learn, and it's also an opportunity to practice serving before they actually leave the university. And so as they get this opportunity to help out with this conference, and as they are learning from these delegates, to be sure that they're also able to serve and to help out with the delegates and other people attending the conference as well. As I mentioned, there's a lot of opportunities that students will have in this conference, but those opportunities will present themselves best when they're looking to serve others and help others.
Okay, love that. Especially how you emphasize about service and enter to learn, go forth to serve. Yeah, that's our school motto. I almost forgot it. Sorry, but yeah, this has been such an insightful discussion. Thank you, Joseph, for sharing your time and perspective with us.
Of course, thank you guys.
If students want to learn more or get involved, where can they find more information about the conference?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, which is with BYUH. You can find us there. If you Google BYUH RFHD, it'll pop up. And you can find out more about our conference there and learn more about what's going on. So.
Perfect.
I wish I can be able to like do the hand thing. Like
click the link
click
right
the link
here.
here.
Yeah.
Well, it's all right. But as mentioned, if you search up RFHD on
RFHD,
Google,
yeah.
it'll pop up and you can
BYUH RFHD, yeah.
get more information there. Okay. Well, thank you again for joining us, and thanks for our listeners for tuning in. Don't forget to follow Alaka'i the podcast for more student stories and important discussions.
be sure to follow us on Instagram at Alaka'i News and check out Alaka'i on Facebook and YouTube for updates. You can also listen to this episode and future ones on Buzzsprout, YouTube, and Spotify.
These are your hosts, Michael.
And Valerie, see you next week, and aloha.